Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be doing acrylic toes, and I'm going to show you how I took my client from looking like this to looking like this. So pretty, very nice, very natural looking. And the previous video, my client had them toenails on for 2 whole months. So acrylic toes, I do recommend. It's not damaging to your toes as long as you know how to do these 3 things: apply it correctly, manage them, and remove them the correct way. As you can see, her toenails is nice and healthy. They're very long, so I had to definitely cut them down. Now I'm going to go ahead and take all the shine off the natural nail plate and remove any of that extra acrylic from me removing the previous set that she had when I was doing her soak off. As you can see, her toenails are so freaking healthy. I really love that. She don't even necessarily need acrylic, but she's in for it. She had it one time and that was it. She not going back to gel polish. She's like, they last way longer than gel polish, and my toenail grows very nice and square. So you can always get acrylic just to make your toenails grow. If it's not, if it's hard to grow, or if you don't have that perfect square shape, you don't necessarily need to do it if you don't want to. But nowadays acrylic is what's popping. That's what's making your client nails last longer. Like I told you guys, she came to me 2 months ago and she still had her acrylic toes on. So that goes to show you that they last a very long time. And the way I apply my acrylic, I make sure I apply it where you're not going to have any lifting. Like, you can have your acrylic on for a long time and you won't have any lifting. Now, do I recommend you to have your acrylic toes on for 2 to 3 months? No. Will it last 2 to 3 months? Yes, but I don't recommend that. So I'm using my Young Nails Protein Bond. I'm going to go ahead and apply that to the nail tip 2 times. And acrylic toes is similar to doing acrylic nails on your natural nail, it's like doing a acrylic overlay. I don't use nail tips when I'm doing my acrylic toes, but for sure I will go ahead and do an acrylic overlay on toes. You can use nail tips if you want to, but I don't recommend using nail tips because when it comes down to the acrylic toes, you can do an overlay so that way it's on your client natural nail plate. With the nail tip, what happens is after a while it will begin to lift, and it could cause a lot of water and stuff like that. So just like imagine if my client stayed with her acrylic toes on for 2 months and she never comes if she has a nail tips on her toenail, that nail tip, what's going to happen is eventually that glue that I use to glue the nail tip is not going to stay anymore. Like with water, then the glue of the nail tip kind of like dissolve itself. Like it's not going to stay forever. So that's why press-ons don't last a really long time, because of that nail glue. But if you're doing acrylic on the other end, yes, it will last a pretty long time. So that's why I do not use nail glue or nail tips, and that's why I don't recommend that if your toenail is coming off, you glue your toenails. These are the type of things I do not recommend you to do when you're dealing with acrylic toes. Some people, and I have had clients, you guys, that actually probably will lose one toenail within 3 months of having their acrylic toes on, and they will glue it back on. And I'm like, that's terrible. You cannot do that, because gluing it on, it can cause you to have a greenie. It could get water trapped in your toenails. You can have fungus. It can cause a lot of different things. So do not do that. I do not recommend you do that. Now, if you're going to get into doing acrylic toes, if you're going to apply them on yourself, or if you're going to apply them on a client, or you're going to get them done by somebody, please go to someone that knows what they're doing. Please make sure you do your research on it, because there's a lot of things when it comes down to acrylic toes that you have to know. One being one, you have to know how to manage your acrylic toes. If you do not know how to manage your acrylic toes, you can lose your entire toenail, your entire toenail bit. Like it can come off, literally, like come flying off with the actual acrylic. So that's why I say, please make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing, how long you have your acrylic toes on, and focus on your application when you're doing acrylic toes. If this is something you want to offer to your clients, please do your research first. And then another thing is, that's why I keep saying, like, I do not do nail tips, because listen, I have had a client that went to the chop shop and they would put a nail tip and her entire nail bit came off with the nail tip. So I do not recommend them type of things. As far as like with the acrylic, I haven't had a client come to me where their entire nail bit is coming off with the acrylic. I haven't had that happen to me. I don't know if it's maybe because the way I apply it. I just make sure I apply my acrylic not too thick, not too thin. When it's applying, like when it comes to right now, like you see how I'm doing my application, it do look thicker than what it usually looks like. But I always make sure when my clients leave, I drill it down until it looks natural. I do not leave my clients with this thick old toenail, because if you leave your client with that thick old toenail and they hit it, it's not gonna be too nice, and that it's gonna hurt. Like, it's really gonna hurt. And then who wants a big thick block of acrylic on their toes? Nobody does. And then it's like with acrylic toes, is not where you have to build an apex. You don't have to do none of that. You want it to look very natural and thin. That's the key. Natural and thin, especially for someone that have toes like this, where she don't have no damage to her toes, where her toes is not uneven. It's not like you're not doing a reconstruction on her toes. Like when I do reconstruction on people's toes, is when they have like literally no toe bit, like no nails on their toenail, or no nails on their bit, like no nails at all. So yeah, please, when it comes down to acrylic toes, manage your acrylic toes. Don't wait 3 months to go get them refilled. Like once you see they start growing out, go and get them refilled. And I don't recommend, like me, I don't do. If my client come in two months later for her acrylic toes, I would not do a refill on her toes. I would give her a brand new set, because it's no telling if it's just too long. Like that's too much of a long period of time. Like your toenail may have any like lifting on any one of your toenails. So I make sure I just manage and look at how my client toenails look when they come to me. If they are a person that comes to me and they not keeping up with managing their toenails, like if they're not taking care of their toenails, like every time I see you, you got 3 broken toenails, that means you bring work, you're doing all this type of stuff, like I'm not going to service you again with acrylic toes. I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't care about your money. And yeah, no, you don't need to keep getting acrylic toes, because you do not know how to manage your acrylic toes. You do not know how to take care of your toes. Just as well as it's my job to apply the acrylic correctly and do the acrylic toes to the best of my ability, is the same way you have to do as a client. You have to take care of your toenails. Now, don't go get acrylic toes and wait 2 months and all you wear is tennis shoes to work, because now you put in all that pressure in your tennis shoes and that acrylic is just poking in your shoe. So now you're causing damage to your natural nail bed. So it all depends on you. Now 2 months is way too long for you to have your toenails grown out that long and you wearing tennis shoes or you wearing work boots. Now you just want damage to be on your toenail. So those are different things I I tell my clients, like, hey, don't cause any damage to your toenails. Take care of your feet. Like, if you're gonna do this, it's a two-way street. It's not just the nail tech. Oh, my toenails damaged because of the nail tech. No, sometimes it don't even be the nail tech. It be the client. You have to take care of yourself. Even when it comes down to your nails, you have to take care of it. You can't wait 3 months and want a refill. No, after 3 months, you need to take them off. Soak off brand new set. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm gonna call it what it is. Some of y'all be so cheap that y'all want to save the nails and, oh yeah, do a refill. No, it's not even a refill. I gotta reconstruct your whole thing. Like, this is too much. I do not do a refill after 2-3 weeks. I probably go 4 weeks. After a month, I'm not giving you a refill. I'm not. I'm giving you a brand new set. We're not doing that. And then sometimes when they wait so long to get their toenails done or even their nails done, they don't understand that you have to do a refill, because once it grows out, that's the chance of it coming off. Like, that's is your nail bits are growing, like the toenails is growing or your nails is growing longer. So you have to either get a refill or take them off. It's one of the two. You can't keep them on that long. But as you can see, you guys, when I'm drilling it, I make sure I drill my client toenails very, very thin. I go over it more than one time. I'm using my fine bit. I make sure I get underneath the toenail because I want it to be very thin. So I just keep on going underneath. But you want to be kind of careful too, because you don't want it to be super thin where once your client walk out the door, it's going to chip. So you got to be very careful. You got to know exactly where to stop, because if you take off too much, then your client toenails can chip right when she putting on her clothes, or if she just walking out the door and it should just chip at any given time. So make sure you just do the correct amount of acrylic and drilling. You don't want to remove too much of the product. And then you want to make sure you seal in the cuticle area and cleaning the side walls as well, so it can look very natural. And I'm just going to keep on taking down that acrylic until it's very thin. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and use my sanding band to just kind of like smooth out the surface. And still, again, I'm going to go around the cuticle area and the side walls, because you do not want any gaps in between the acrylic. So you want it to look very flush around the cuticle area and the side walls and look natural, so no gaps. So once you do this with the sanding band, as you can see, my sanding band too is the mini one. So this is on my Amazon storefront if you're looking to buy. But the sanding band I'm using is skinnier than the bigger ones, and I like the mini ones because it's skinnier and it's shorter, so I can really work with it. I can really get, around the cuticle area and underneath the nail, underneath the the toenails. What am I saying? But yeah, I can get underneath the toenails very, very easily, you guys. So y'all comment down below and let me know, how do you feel about white toes? Like, I don't know, I have mixed feelings. Like, I love white toes, don't get me wrong. Right in there, go to boom, boom, boom. It's easy, it's soft, it's nice. But when they grow out, it's like, okay, yeah, now like, okay, it's time to get rid of them. But as far as like of a French, you can have a nice nude background and they're still gonna look good when they grow out. Or a nice pink background, they're still gonna look good because it's gonna blend in with your natural nail plate. But I don't know. I told myself starting January 2024, I told myself that I was going to stay away from white toes. So I have not gotten white toes as of yet. It's been a while. So me personally, the reason why I want to stay away from white toes is because I felt like as a nail tech, all I was doing was white on myself, and I have plenty of colors. Like why was I only doing white toes? Like, and I'm a nail tech. And me being a nail tech, I think I get bored fast. I get bored with a certain nail style. After a while, it's like, okay, what's the next era? Like, what is we doing next? Like, what is the next trending set that we are going to be doing? Because I get bored very, very fast with certain nail sets. But, yeah, this white era, I think I'm over that white era. But don't get me wrong, it's nice. And then I think another thing is I don't care for white. I would prefer a soft white. But I don't like soft white on myself. But with clients, when my clients ask me, they be like, "Oh, what do you think?" I'm like, I don't know. I think we should do soft white. Like, I like soft white on her. But me, personally, I don't like soft white on me. But I like white on me. But this is how it looked at after I was done filing. I ate that up. Then this is the final look. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment. Bye.